Happy Thursday evening, everyone. You know it's Thursday, and you know if you tune into HCP, H, right? Hispanics causing panic. H se pe en español. That can mean one and one thing only. That means it is the HCP Roundtable, and we're about to get into some interesting topics. I want to welcome our first guest of the show, Ring IQ. Thank you for joining us, sir. We've got, as always, G Funky Boxing in the house, Deep Style Boxing, El Capitan, and Mr. Joe Habib, dare I say, the greatest Lebanese commentator on the sport. Thank you for being here with us tonight as well, Joe. No, I kid, Joe. He's one of the greatest out there doing it. Full stop. Look, I want to get started, obviously, with some of the biggest news of the day, of the week. Canelo apparently made an announcement that turned the boxing world on its head for whatever reason. And I just want to go around the panel and get your initial thoughts. First of all, I want to know what you first thought of the announcement, which is obviously that Canelo intends to go up to cruiserweight to fight Makabu, the Congolese WBC champion, and whether or not that initial thought has changed, whether maybe it's been magnified 2 times, 3 times, 5 times. Let me know what you think. First, what you thought and where you're at now. Joe, I'm going to go to you first.
Obviously, I was very surprised. I never thought he would even dream of going up to cruiserweight. I thought it was just a big step to do that. 22 or 32 pounds, whatever it's going to be, right? Because it's never easy. I remember Makabu from Tony Bellew, right? And this division, people are criticizing Makabu because they haven't heard of him or whatever. But if you look at the division, the Ring has him ranked number 2 at cruiserweight. BoxRec has him ranked number 2 at cruiserweight. So he's the second best cruiserweight in the division. So I don't know why he's being called a cherry pick. Obviously, Marius Briedis is the best. We know that. But the other 2 guys that were the best, Alexander Usyk and Mariat Gassiev, they moved up to heavyweight. In cruiserweight, it's always been that division where it's kind of been a pit stop for fighters before they go up to heavyweight anyways, right? This has never been a real popular division. So I see people going on BoxRec and looking at fighters on his resume and saying, who's that? But once again, a lot of these guys aren't on television. It's a lot of Eastern European, a lot of European boxers that people normally wouldn't know anyways, right? So it is what it is. People want to talk about Lawrence Okoli, but that, he's a guy that's unproven. So I see the majority of people really criticizing the fight, but the more I look at it, I think it's a legitimate fight. And, those other fights will still be there. Canelo has shown us that he may not give us the fights we want when we want them, but he does give us the fights we want eventually. So that's how I feel about it.
Awesome. Thank you. Ring IQ, initial thoughts at 8:09 p.m. Eastern, which is essentially right now.
I fucking laughed so hard when that news broke. Like, I fucking laughed so hard because it was like, I was expecting Charlo to get the fight because I felt that Canelo needed a break. And I viewed Charlo as the weakest link out of all the names in the running. I think Benavidez gives Canelo a better fight. I think Artur gives him a better fight. I think Bivol gives him a better fight. So I figured Canelo deserves a break. He'll probably pick Charlo, do the fight in Texas, and it'll do some decent numbers on pay-per-view. When I heard Makabu, I fucking laughed. He just said, fuck y'all to all of y'all. And I'm with it. Like, yeah, I'm with that shit, man. Fuck y'all. Y'all don't deserve that fight. You can't just sit on your hands this way, waiting for him to bless you or man, get the fuck out of here, man. All right. And the fact of the matter is, and I think it needs to be said, there's an American bias at work that wants people to assume that Jamal is a better fighter than Makabu, or that David is a better fighter than Makabu, when I don't think either of those guys go 12 rounds with Lunga Makabu. Neither of them. Jamal doesn't have the power to keep him off. Benavidez was dropped by Ronald Gavril, who never won a title, is not an elite level guy. So why am I supposed to believe that Jamal and David are better choices than Lunga Makabu? Artswell Beterbiev was dropped by Jeff Page and Callum Johnson. What would Lunga do to him if he lands clean? You know, Bivol a great boxer, no doubt about it. But it's this feeling that, oh, well, unless you have a major promotional engine behind you, you're not a good fighter. Or because I'm not familiar with you, you're not a good fighter. I'm actually familiar with Lunga Makabu. And if it were Maris Breedis that picked him, Arslan Gulumarian who picked him, or Lawrence Okoli who picked him, I'd have been just as excited because I know this guy can punch. This guy's serious business. So I'm happy with the fight, to be honest.
Yeah. D-Style. Actually, before I get to you, D-Style, let me big up Drew. He dropped the super chat, which I'm much appreciated for. Ding the bell for Drew real quick. All right. Drew says exactly. I think he's responding to Joe here. He's not a cherry pick or a soft touch. He's a stay busy fight. Every cash cow has had one in every era. Rod Salka was a cherry pick. I think he's referring to Garcia, right? Danny Garcia, if memory serves me well. D-Style, initial thoughts tonight as you ponder this question about Makabu being selected by Canelo as his next opponent.
Yeah, I was surprised, like everybody. It's a very random announcement. Like he's gonna what? Like that was my announcement, my reaction to this. But look, at the end of the day, it looks like Mauricio Suleiman is parading young Bridger Walker around, so nobody criticizes him about the new division. This is the kid that saved his sister, and like that's it, and so and they did announce like a year ago saying we're going to move the cruiserweight division to 190. I do remember at the time saying, man, if I'm Makabu at the time, right, like I would probably consider suing the WBC for changing my division from 200 to 190, right? But now, I mean, it's like Suleiman's like, yo, well, would it get you the Canelo fight, and now he's all for it. So that might be a bridge, pun intended, to get it to 190. I don't like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the division weight changing, okay, to 190. I'm not a fan of that. But I will say this. As Khalek said, I'm not going to shed any tears for any of these middleweights who, by the way, didn't even bother moving up to Canelo's weight, right? And they've had a year to do it. They didn't even bother to do it. You had Charlo saying Canelo's got to move down to fight him in a post-fight interview. Like, dude, like, go fuck yourself. How about that, okay? And Benavidez himself has said, look, I lost the belt. That's my fault. I got to work my way back up, right? He just had a last-minute replacement. He's calling out Charlo. I think that's a good move. Try to fight somebody else, okay? In the meantime, that's how I feel about it. I got an echo. I don't know what it is, but I got an echo. But all I know is this. I'm okay with the fight because it's not like Canelo is this guy that fights one time every blue moon or something. Canelo's been an active fighter, okay? If this is a stay busy fight, I can't wait to see what his actual fight is going to be, right? Moving up 2 weight classes to fight a title holder is not stay busy, okay, in my opinion. I do think that this is a tough fight in its own way. There is a threat there, and I'm actually concerned for Canelo, not because of the opponent's, skills or anything like that. I'm actually concerned because of what the long-term effects are going to be. Right? Even if, like, I'll never forget Manny Pacquiao dominating Margarito, but saying, I'm never going to fight in that fucking weight class again. Right? Because the few shots he did land, he felt those. It felt heavy, and he didn't want to feel that again. So it's going to be interesting. Even the shots Canelo blocks on his elbows and his guard that land on his hips, like he's going to feel those shots. Right? And it just takes one shot. I saw Sergio Martinez dominate a much heavier Chavez Jr. Dominate him. The dude landed one damn punch, blew out his knee, and his career was never the same again. Those are real concerns that I have. If this guy's knocking out guys that are 200 plus pounds, there is a danger there, right? And I don't think it's a necessary risk he's been taking. It's a calculated risk. He's obviously a small cruiserweight. And Canelo feels, especially at 190, he has a really good shot at beating him. That's why they're doing it. people forget that. One more point. Reynoso actually mentioned Benavidez' name, and he's mentioned the other guys saying, look, when they become mandatories, we'll come back down and fight them, right? People are leaving that part out, right? So he's not forgetting about these guys. I think it's fair, while Canelo goes and conquers this dude, all right, that you guys fight each other and show, right, that you should be able to get this Canelo fight, in my opinion.
I got it. We're joined now by Coach Malachi Williams of New Media Today USA Boxing. Coach Malachi, thank you for joining us. The question,
Yes, sir. Sorry about that. I had to fix the kids something to eat.
it's all good. The food is always a priority in my house as well.
I have an 8-year-old and a 7-year-old, so
there you go. Well, my question for the panel, Coach Malachi, was simple. What was your initial reaction to the announcement that Canelo was interested in going up to cruiserweight to take on Makabu, the WBC champion out of Congo? And has that view changed at all? Have you been more strong in your resolve with that view? Talk about your initial reaction to where you are right now.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, bro. I really didn't give a damn because Canelo chose to move up to cruiserweight and fight Makabu. I didn't give a damn about that because the man fought 4 times in a year. He fought 3 undefeated champions, beat 3 undefeated champions. They saying, well, those guys, those champions wasn't all of that. Well, guess what? Caleb Plant didn't fight the unified division. He didn't fight Billy Joe Saunders. He didn't fight Callum Smith, right? 2 ways to look at this shit. So now, I get it. You don't like Canelo. I hate him. Whatever the reason may be, there's nothing he can do to make you feel good. And basically, I've been doing this 11 months. I'm going on 11 months now, so I don't kind of figure this stuff out. These are guys who pro PBC, more than likely they love Floyd Mayweather, and there's nothing wrong with that. Floyd's one of my favorite fighters of all time, of course. And they don't like Canelo. So there's something that I learned. When someone doesn't like you, there's nothing you can do to make them like you, right? He could fight King Kong, as I say on my show, King Kong, Godzilla, Mothra, Gamma Voltron, Megatron, Optimus Prime, the Dinobots, all of the Decepticons. It doesn't matter. It's nothing is going to change. Nothing's going to change this. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm tired of this Canelo, not because I just don't like Canelo, but I'm like this Canelo obsession with these guys. Oh, Canelo, he just bought a Hyundai. Why he didn't buy a Ford truck? Oh, Canelo, he's fighting this guy. Okay, but what about what these other dudes gonna do? You see what I'm saying? Okay, y'all trying to land the Canelo Alvarez sweepstakes. I'm trying to fight him too. I got me a belt. I got my belt right here. Amazon Prime, the WBC Amazon Prime belt. I whooped the dude, beat the brakes off a dude. Amazon delivery driver. He got the mouth. So I'm trying to get that payday too. Unfortunately, Canelo didn't choose me. So my thing is this here. Why you have this obsession with this guy to where he didn't choose me? I feel like these dudes are begging. They're on their knees. And it's like, don't have no damn dignity. You got all these different Hall of Famers talking shit about Canelo. That's fine. You got all these other fanboys on different pages and channels hating on Canelo. That's fine. My thing is this here. Boxing is bigger than one guy. Canelo's doing his thing. He does what the hell he wants to do. And there's nothing you're going to do to change that. Who the hell are the other guys going to fight? So I don't care if he's moving up the cruiserweight to fight this guy. There's no guarantee that he's going to beat him. That's what people fail to realize. They act like just because you never heard of this guy doesn't mean he's going to beat this guy. Just like when the great Salvador Sanchez fought Azuma Nelson. Azuma Nelson had 13 fights. Salvador Sanchez had 46 fights at the time. Guess what? Zuma Nelson was looked upon as a cherry pick. He only had 13 fights. He's fighting the great Salvador Sanchez. Guess what? They took him 15 rounds, and he damn near lost that fight. So, I'm not tripping on this. The rest of them dudes got to fight. I don't mean the rant. I'm sorry. I apologize. Nothing has changed.
No, you're good. And next time what you got to do is you got to get 2 of those belts, and you got to go to Canelo's post-fight press conference.
I got 5. I'm undisputed.
Okay. So, G-Funky, you've been known to have certain views about Canelo. I know you've even made videos about that. But before I get to you, I want to big up Drew. Ding the bell for Drew. We got the super chat. Canelo taking this fight is giving credence to the thoughts from insiders that Canelo will retire soon. Perhaps. We also got another one from Pablo E. Magdalena. Maybe that's husband and wife. All right, maybe that's 2 people watching the show. I appreciate it. Everyone's expecting too much from Canelo. It's not fair, you know? And we got one more that just popped up. We've got Mr. Nando Llamas, a big supporter of Maestro Boxing and of HCP. 100% Canelo is doing boxing fans and the sport a huge favor with this chess move. Top fighters at 160 to 175 need to fight each other ASAP. No payday. Canelo voice, I didn't do it right. I'm assuming that's what that meant. We're going to get to that question later on in the show too, actually, Nando, so hold tight for that. G. Funkstradamus, you know, you've been known for predicting things. Okay, well, what was your thought when you heard this? And what is your thought today at 8:21 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday night?
Well, first thing I want to say is this. It looks like this guy, Makabu, this is him. He's got about 5 green belts in this picture here. So we'll see if he brings them all to the press conference and then Maestro will be upset again. So just want to throw that out there.
But look, upset, found it funny, but proceed.
I'll say this, man. When I first heard it, I was just like, huh? Like, it was just kind of a weird decision and a weird fighter. Like, I'll be honest with you, I never heard of the guy, you know? And with that being said, like, okay, I never heard of this guy, so let me take a look at him, right? So I spent the last couple of days looking at this guy to see if I could see anything there, because you guys know I got a really good eye for spotting a live dog. You know, my history, my track record shows that. And I got to tell you this, I'm not seeing anything great about this guy. I'm just not impressed with him. Just not. I feel like Canelo's going to beat this guy pretty easy. That's what I think. And I'm not going to explain why, because the fight's not official yet. Unless it is. I don't know. Maybe there's breaking news. I don't know. But you guys know I don't do this type of stuff. But I feel like it's going to be an easy victory for Canelo. I feel like he's just too good, you know. And I understand the weight and all that. And look, he's chasing history, and I'm not mad at that. He can do that. He's earned the right to do that. He's the cash cow. And he's not the only cash cow in history to do this type of thing. And I think that's something that a lot of these guys who are pushing these narratives are forgetting, that a lot of guys throughout history and cash cows have done this type of stuff. You know, we go all the way back to the 80s with Sugar Ray Leonard. He pulled down Donnie Lalonde and won the light heavyweight championship of the world. And that was at like a super middleweight weight. You know, he did that. Okay. Roy Jones moved up and fought the low hanging fruit champion of the heavyweight division, and John Ruiz, who beat an old Evander Holyfield for that belt. He wasn't going after Lennox Lewis, who was the champion, the heavyweight champion of the world. You know, Pacquiao fought Margarito at a catchweight for a belt. Like, this is not the first time. So I think people are just, you know, they're getting in their feelings about it. Look, this is not new, okay? He's earned the right to do this. And I'll say this, like, I'm not a fan of the fight. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to be a good fight. I think Canelo's going to dog walk this guy. He's going to outbox him. I think he's too fast. He's too good defensively. These type of guys are tailor-made for him. This guy's really slow feet. Like, I don't see how he's going to beat him. The only chance I think he's got is to land something crazy, and I think Canelo is just too good to get hit with something crazy like that. And I wanted to see Benavidez. I wanted to see the Benavidez fight because I think that would be an action-packed fight. I think that would be a fan-friendly fight. I think a lot of people would be interested in that fight. You got a Mexican versus a Mexican-American. There will be a nice crowd for that. I think a lot of people wouldn't mind buying that. So that's why I like that fight. Not because he deserves it. I know a lot of people have been talking about, well, these guys don't deserve it. And I agree. I definitely agree with you guys on that. I wouldn't mind if Canelo just said, you know what? I'm going to stay here with all these belts, and I'm going to be the reigning, defending, undisputed champion in this division. I'm going to take on some of these mandatories while you guys figure it out. You know, I don't mind that either. So those are my thoughts there. I've been hearing a lot of rumblings of things of like almost like what I was hearing with Caleb Plant. when people were saying things like this, like, I don't know, man, Caleb Plant, he might beat Canelo, man. I don't know. Like, I'm starting to hear a lot of that too with this Makabu guy. Now, I don't know if anybody in his panel is actually picking him, thinking he's going to win. Am I right or wrong? Anybody in the panel think he's going to win?
Funky, I understand what you're saying.
Let's see what the odds are first, please.
G Funky, I don't know, man. I don't know. Makabu,
Let's see what the odds are.
He may pull it off.
All right, well, let me break it down.
Well, I'll
like
tell you this.
Right?
Hold on. Let me just say this before you go, Maestro. If anybody thinks Makabu's going to win and that I'm crazy for thinking that Canelo's going to beat this guy, I tell you what. Let's go ahead and drop some money on that, baby. I got all day long. Let's go 1, 2,
G
3,
Funky
4. Who wants
G Funky
5,
G
6.
Funky.
I'm ready, baby.
Let me ask you a question.
Nature boy, baby.
Let me ask you a question. Is anyone on this
that?
panel picking Benavidez to beat Canelo?
No, I'm not.
No.
There you
Is
go.
anyone on this panel picking Charlo to beat Canelo?
No,
I'm
definitely not. I'm not.
Can I go on the record? I just want to go on the record.
I'm ready for the money, baby. Let's go.
I'm gonna say this.
Real
The
quick,
only
real
guy,
quick,
only guy I think stands a legitimate chance of beating Canelo is probably B-Ball because of the legs. The legs and the jab.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's about it. All these other guys, better beefs.
So
I'm
look,
just
I'm
saying
gonna
this, Maestro. I'm keeping the same energy that I did for Plant. A lot of people were saying the same shit with Plant, and I issued out the same challenge to everybody else. And you think Plant's gonna beat him? Let's drop some fetty on it, Lil.
Go ahead, Amílcar. Let's get to the super chats, and then you can go.
Get to the super chats first, and I'll drop what I think about this. So let's go to Lemon Pepper Chitterlings. Canelo is the Bachelorette, and other fighters are the girls waiting to be picked. I think he means the Bachelor. The girls on the show actually fight each other. That's actually real funny. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Good one. Jaime Nieto, thank you for the super chat. I just don't get why people expect Canelo to constantly run the gauntlet, yet they make excuses for all the other fighters. Where was that?
Go ahead.
To sit on the sidelines. Yeah. Look, I agree. Look, my first reaction to this was, wow, that's interesting. I didn't expect that. My second reaction to it was, why not? We got another super chat. Jaime Nieto, if this is Canelo's tune-up and he goes on to fight David, I guess Benavidez or Charlo, the haters will still complain and come up with the next monster he's not fighting. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm going to be rather brief on this because I want to get to the next topic, but I did a whole live yesterday. It was about an hour and a half. Anybody that wants to
another super chat, Maestro. They're just rolling in. You know what I mean? Let's go.
All right, here we go. Another super chat. Chicano Profit fight opened at Canelo minus 300, Makabu plus 400. Odds much tighter than his most recent championship unification fights. And they should be. Another one. Wow, I'm just reading super chats tonight. Drew's come back again. Makabu will have more of Canelo.
Is this the lottery?
So stop it. Benavidez gets worked by Canelo easy. Appreciating the super chats, everybody. Now, here we go. Look at BoxRec. We have something called the internet that we can all benefit from if you look at things objectively. Right, whether you're looking at a qualitative or a quantitative examination of the last few fighters that Triple G has faced. At 160, guys, you kidding me? Come on. Rolls, Zarameta, Devrenchenko. How is that calling or making people clamor to see him fight Canelo a third time? Unless you're Chris Mannix, who apparently really thinks that that's the best fight out there, okay? Look at who Benavidez just fought over the weekend. Look at who he fought previously. How exactly has that led to the clamoring, okay, that everybody demand that Canelo fight Benavidez? I'm not seeing it, okay? Let's go to Boo Boo. I don't even need to go to Boo Boo, okay? Now, as to what you were saying, he should be considered more of a threat, G-Funky, with all due respect, than Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant weighs 168 pounds. Okay, he held a title at 168. Makabu holds the title at 200. Okay, he's gone to Russia and fought a power puncher and beat him in Russia. He went to Germany. He's been on the road. Yes, he had that back and forth 3-round slugfest with Bellew and got knocked out, but he put Bellew on his ass. He's a legit puncher at 200 pounds. I don't care what anybody says. If some guy who's a world champion outweighs you by, what is it at this point, unless it goes down to one, let's say it's at 190, he still outweighs him by more than 20 pounds. That brings some level of threat to the equation. Now, if people don't want to acknowledge it, I don't know what to tell you. If people want to believe that somehow Charlo's a more difficult fight, really? The Charlo that went life and death with Montiel in his last fight, the Charlo who went 12 rounds with Deverenchenko, the Charlo who's gone pretty much 12 rounds for most of his last 5 fights. I think 1 out of 4 of his last fights ended in knockouts. Somehow that Charlo's more of a threat to Canelo than a 200-pound WBC cruiserweight champion. Well, here's the difference, guys. Makabu isn't from Houston. Makabu isn't from Las Vegas. Makabu's not from Cincinnati, Ohio. Because if Makabu's, was, John Johnson and was signed to the PBC, okay, everybody be like, wow, Canelo, great move. Okay, but he's some African that nobody's ever heard of.
John Johnson from Brooklyn, New York, or something like that.
You should have heard of him. I've seen him live on TV. I've watched streams of his championship fights, including the last one that he did in Congo. Used to be called Zaire. In Kinshasa. He's a real world champion. He's a southpaw, okay, who's dropped big guys on their asses, and it's a legit fight. And at the end of the day, as some people are saying here, it's a quote-unquote tune-up, all right? Canelo just fought 4 times in under 365 days, essentially pulling what's in tennis called a grand slam, winning 4 majors in a year, and apparently that's not enough to shut up the haters. I don't know what will be. If Makabu gets knocked out, people are still going to hate. If Makabu gives him a tough fight, people are still going to hate. If you believe that Triple G or Charlo or Andrade or Benavidez or any of these guys are better opponents for Canelo, I don't know what to tell you. He's the cruiserweight champ. What the amount of pay-per-views this sells should not be part of the equation in terms of how competitive this fight is. I'm sorry. Let's get into a super chat. Puro Sur Central Boxeo, hashtag CCD. I don't know what that hashtag means. Still don't. HCP, CCD. Please explain, because I'm confused about that hashtag, and I will be until it's explained to me. Let's keep it going. All right? Because I'm done with the Canelo hate, at least for tonight. We may readdress it at another time. So look, actually, no, you know what? I did want to go to one last thing on this. Name an opponent. I'm going to just go through the panel. Name an opponent that's more of a threat to Canelo right now. We're hearing about middleweights. We're hearing about super middleweights. Name an opponent that's more of a threat right now to Canelo than Makabu. G Funky, I'm going to go to you first.
Sorry, Ben. I was making a bet in the chat. Could you ask the question again?
Name an opponent. We've been hearing Triple G. We've been hearing Charlo.
Come on, G Funky. Come on, brother.
That's more of a threat. Not, I don't want to hear about pay-per-view numbers and how well this will sell from strictly boxing. That's more of a threat to Canelo than Makabu. Is there a guy?
I think David Benavidez.
Okay. Joe Habib.
I think they're all equally going to be underdogs, to be honest with you. In my opinion, I think they're all equally just as the same amount of a threat. If I don't think they're more of a threat than Makabu is, to be honest with you. I really don't.
For Ring IQ, is there a guy out there more of a threat? If so, why?
Not more. The only perceived threat, and I've felt this way for weeks, is probably B-Ball because of the feet and the jab. But Makabu's a greater threat than David Benavidez. I mentioned it earlier. David was floored by Ronald Gavril. Charlo, the last guy he knocked out was Hennis Dogan. So I mean, and how many fights ago was that? Is this Makabu's more of a threat than those guys? That's a given. That's just a given.
Coach Malachi Williams.
I'm gonna be honest with you, fam. I didn't know much about Makabu, so. And Julius is very well versed in a lot of this stuff, so I didn't know much about Makabu, so I can't really say that Makabu would be a bigger threat. I personally want to see Canelo fight David Benavidez, but I will say this: when you're moving up the cruiserweight, fighting a guy. There's a risk factor there. You're gaining weight. You may not have the speed that you would normally have. There's a risk factor there. My whole point is this: just because we have not heard of this guy does not mean that it's not a risk. You know what I mean? It is a cherry pick, though. They cherry picked this guy. In my opinion, you have to agree with it. You know, they picked this guy because there's another guy at the cruiserweight they could have picked, but they didn't pick him. But I'm not even tripping on that. To me, it's just not a big deal. The man is undisputed. He does what the hell he wants to do, and that's it. What more do you want me to say? You know what I mean? But I say Benavidez.
All right, I'm gonna give.
Oh,
Well, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened to Amílcar, guys. He'll come back on in a little bit. First, shout out to Drew. Says American fighters and their fans act like boxing was invented here, and the stars are selling 190K pay-per-view like Tank. But Murata, who pulls views in the millions, are bums and unknowns, and maybe Maestro should ring the bell for Drew.
I'm gonna ring the bell for Drew. Going right back to Drew. American fighters and their fans act like boxing was invented here, and they start selling 190,000 pay-per-views like Tank. But Murata, who pulls in views in the millions, are bums and unknowns. I guess
you got to read twice, brother. We read it twice from. Read it again. There's another one right here.
All right, we're gonna go to Drew. He says, "Put your money up, G Funky. I got Canelo stopping Benavidez easy."
I asked about this guy. You could come talk to me after this fight, but I asked about this guy. I already got a $300 bet that I made in the chat, so I ain't no punk when it comes to this shit, man. So,
he stops Benavidez though,
not a punk when it comes to any shit. Actually,
come holler at me when the fight's made.
Benavidez will slug with him, and he'll get in exchanges, and he'll get stopped.
The other thing is, I just wanted to add this. The thing about Benavidez is, and I think this would have been a good fight maybe a year ago. Right now, what I see is a guy who's killing himself to squeeze into 168, and that's a part of the reason that the last fight was at 169. You know, they gave him a choice. Do you want to do one? You know, and he said, no, I'm going to make the cut as stress-free as possible. But I actually think David's outgrown that weight because he's a really young guy. He's only getting bigger. His metabolism is getting slower. Yeah. To me, he needs to go to 175 sooner than later before somebody stops him.
Not only that, too. These guys are finishing the fights on their feet because he doesn't bend his knees when he punches. He stands straight up.
Yeah.
All right. I
believe I got a couple super chats that I still need to get to, or have I gotten to all of them? I think I have. All of them. Yeah, I got through all of them. Thank you so much, Giselle. So look, is there a guy out there? No, there isn't. Not at 168 pounds, not at 160 pounds. And it seems like that's where most of the names are coming from. I'm going to be honest. That's my opinion. D-Style, you can disagree. I got something to show you.
Well, I haven't gone yet. So
okay. Well,
you want me to go?
Go right after me. Go right after me.
Right.
David Benavidez, name I keep hearing. Coach Malachi Williams, he just mentioned him. Okay. Last fight, Kyron Davis. Before that, Ronald Ellis. Before that, Roamer and Alexis Angulo. Sorry for getting that messed up. Anthony Durrell, J. Leon Love, Ronald Gabriel, I believe he's Romanian, twice, and Porky Medina. What do you think Makabu would do to those guys? I'll tell you what I think he'd do to them. I think he'd stop every last one of those opponents.
David included.
200-pound cruiserweight champion with the WBC. And let me tell you something else about this dude. When Lawrence Okoli was being groomed to be a cruiserweight world champion, Eddie Hearn did not steer him towards Bradis. Eddie Hearn did not steer him towards Goulamarian, and Eddie Hearn did not steer him towards Makabu. He steered him towards a WBO title because they consider that to be the path of least resistance. Okay? So, again, it's telling me that David Benavidez, Triple G, these other names, I'm sorry, they're not holding more weight, literally, than the champion with the WBC. D-Style, the floor is yours, El Capitan.
So check it out. I want to make sure I'm clear, right? So when Chief Funky says he's not impressed with Makabu, I know what he's talking about. Like, I look at him and he doesn't look that good to the eye. So I don't disagree with what he's saying. But cruiserweights don't look like middleweights. They don't move like that. You can't judge them the same way, right? That's what I say to that. But what he brings is power. What it brings, I think this is the biggest puncher Canelo's ever faced. Period. I don't think that's debatable at all, right? It might be the strongest guy. I think he is the strongest guy he's ever faced. But with that said, well, I believe there's a risk there, and all that. This idea that he's by definition a tougher challenge than David Benavidez, just because he's bigger and because he's been in the sport longer. Benavidez is 24, 25 years old. Of course he's done more and maybe more. Like that goes without saying. But did he ever see Pacquiao get knocked out by a welterweight? No. Who knocked out Pacquiao? Little dudes. Okay? Those are the guys that knocked Pacquiao out. Marquez knocked him the fuck out. It wasn't Margarito. I'm sure Margarito's bigger and stronger, but the guy that knocked him out was a little dude. So by definition, we can't just say, yeah, the bigger guys are just tougher by definition. It's a different type of challenge. It's a big guy. This is a calculated risk. Anyone who doesn't think this is a calculated risk, you're crazy, right? He's taking a calculated risk to face this guy. Now, it's a risk nonetheless. I acknowledge it. I think, it's still, it's still historic in my opinion. It'll be a fit division for Canelo, all that. But I got to be honest with you. I do think Benavidez is the challenge for Canelo. I think that's the guy that is going to give Canelo a good fight. You can shake your head all you want, Beeb, but I'm telling you right now, it's the toughest fight. Canelo's not unbeatable, guys.
No way. No
I
way.
like Canelo. Canelo's a great fighter. I've been covering Canelo for 9 years on here. Okay, I love Canelo. He's a great fighter. But he's not
Benavidez gets
unbeatable.
stopped earlier than
He ain't
plans.
unbeatable, brother. He ain't unbeatable.
He'll get stopped earlier than Plant will.
Can I chime in?
He'll get stopped earlier than Plant will.
I'm not saying he would win. I'm not saying he would win, but
he'll get stopped earlier than Plant.
But hold on, let me finish my point. So I waited patiently while you guys spoke, so let me just finish my point, okay? I wasn't shaking my head like all dramatic when you were talking, okay? So let me say this, okay? I wasn't going like this, let's check this out.
It's a free country.
It's all good, but check this out. Okay, chill out, Captain America. Chill out, okay?
I didn't know I had to sit still. I didn't know I was in school. I have to sit still and I can't move.
You're in the corner now.
Well, check this out. Really quick.
I gotta go in the corner. I gotta sit still. I'm
really quick. But check this out. So all I want to say is this: when you say who's a better, challenges are different, right? There's guys that are a risk because they can outbox you and beat you in a 12-round fight. There's guys that can't beat you that way, but there's that risk that they could hurt you and damage you permanently, right? I think that's the type of risk this fight is, okay? I don't think he's not going to beat Canelo in a decision. He's not going to outbox Canelo. That's not the type of challenge this is. The risk is he could get caught and knocked out. But you got Bivol. Bivol could not box him, okay? He could win 7 rounds against Canelo. I think Benavidez can give him a hell of a fight. I think Canelo wins these fights, including with the cruiserweight. But that's just my opinion. But you can get to the super chat now.
Right.
Let me get to the super chat. Then we're gonna go to Joe Habib, and then we're gonna go Mr. Ring.
Go ahead, because you got 2 more. I'll put them on the screen. But go ahead, Amílcar.
Will Lynch in the house. Ding the motherfucking bell. Keep up the good work, everybody. Yeah, I second that. Everybody on this panel's putting in that work. That's 100% sure. Drew is back again. There are weight classes for a reason. What Canelo and Usyk are doing is the epitome of libre por libre, which is Espanol for pound, punch drunk, boxing. Dímelo, mi hermano. He says, and I got to ding the bell for Mr. Punch Drunk. Dímelo, Maestro. Canelo, a.k.a. King Nello, a.k.a. Cartel Nello, a.k.a. Payday. Aha. Get the fuck out of here, man. Could do whatever he wants at this point. They say he needs to fight the best, yet what name attached to Canelo on pound for pound list? Ding the bell. Ding the bell. I said I'd go to I said I'd go to Joe Habib.
You got one more, Amílcar. It's right on the street. Let's go, brother. Let's go, brother. You got another one. Then you got another one after. Let's go.
He is saying Canelo is unbeatable,
Hey,
but
he's on Ritalin tonight.
does nothing elite.
I agree.
All right, next one. Let's go. Let's go, brother. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Standing 8 count out there in the UK. He's thrown me a 4-pound, 49 pence super chat. Appreciate that. Let me do the conversion. That's like $7.50, maybe. Yeah, about $7.50. Thank you so much. Loving the show, fellas. Thank you. Loving your contribution, my brother. Joe Habib, hit it. What's up?
Hit this other one first.
I gotta hit the other one first. Finally, a panel of cats.
Now I'm fucking doing it.
Full deck boxing. All right, your turn, Joe Habib.
All I'm saying is Makabu has fight-changing power with the left hand. He's dropped and stopped several people with it. David Benavidez, these guys are finishing the fight on their feet. He's just overwhelming them because he's just that much better than them. The gap in skill is so great, and he's an arm puncher.
Yes, he is.
He's an arm puncher. He doesn't bend his knees and sit down on shots. He's got fast hands. He's flashy, but he's an arm puncher. I just don't think that he's more dangerous than a guy that can stop you with one punch, which is the left hand. I've seen this guy do it several times.
I'd wager that Artur is, I mean, if we're talking concussive power, because there's skill behind Artur's boxing, most people don't take that into account. That he's not just a pressure fighter. He's actually a well-schooled pressure fighter with a good amateur background. I don't want to make this into a PBC thing, but there's no easy way for me to say this. There's nobody elite over there. Not Charlo, not David Benavidez. Fighting the likes of Kyron Davis, Romer Angulo. The most elite guy you fought was Anthony Durrell, for God's sake.
And he finished the fight on his feet.
This is true. The most elite guy, potential. Sorry, go ahead, Ring IQ.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, just to cap it off, it's just like everything you see with David is I think he has the potential to be better than what he is. I honestly think he wants to fight for the right reasons. So I don't want to trash him. I actually think he wants to fight because he himself believes I'm the guy that can beat him. And I like that about him. But as far as ability, hey man, I'm not seeing it, dog. Like
squares up. It's got a lot of flaws. It's got a lot of flaws.
This dude ain't gonna beat Canelo either, so it is what it is, right?
So, I mean, look.
Well, the question right now isn't is he going to beat Canelo? The question, at least I had for the panel.
His power is a threat. His power is a threat with the left hand.
David Benavidez doing this, ladies and gentlemen.
Powerful punches that are coming in from
Got a good left hand.
He's shipping a lot of punishment here. Hooks to the body, right hands upstairs. Bellew's got to keep his head though.
This is Tony Bellew, the guy that Stevenson dominated, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Maestro, why don't you show the third round knockout where Makabu looked like he was a fucking dead man standing on his feet?
The last fight.
Look, I love look, I don't have a problem with Canelo fighting this guy. But I gotta be honest with you, if you were to give me a percentage of who's gonna, I would put Bivol. I think Bivol has a better shot to beat Canelo. He might not knock out Canelo, but he could outbox him. He could get a W over Canelo. I think it's more likely. My opinion. That's what I gotta say.
Go ahead, G-Funk. You had a point to make. Actually, before I just want to get to this.
Go ahead.
What fundamental or anything with boxing nuances Benavidez do that elite or pound for pound or
Nothing.
that does that it's elite or worthy?
Nothing.
I don't know. That's a good
Everyone
question.
just keeps throwing this guy's name around like he's freaking Sugar
It's
Ray
because he's fucking big. That's the only reason
I don't
anybody brings
understand
him
it.
up.
Like,
It's just because he's big.
Benavidez, but he's
Hold
not Tommy
up.
Hearns.
Hey, let me do this. Zurdo Ramirez is a tougher fight than fucking David Benavidez.
Way tougher.
Oh, not even close.
Way
Zurdo
tougher.
Ramirez is a way better fight.
But his name's never getting thrown around because he's not the quote unquote boogeyman.
No, he's not. Let's get to Nando real quick. Nando with the super chat. HCP is war. Shout out to G Funky for not player hating, just smooth diminishing. The smooth diminishing G Funky. G Funky, yes, it's true. It is HCP. It is HCP is war. But you got any comeback?
You got the super chat right there.
You got
Another
counter
super chat.
punch real quick. You got a counter punch. I'm not even charging you for it, G. What's a counter punch?
Get that super chat right there, brother. Get that super chat.
Let's get that super chat really quick, Master. Go ahead.
Oh, we got another super chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Coming in, I can't even keep up with this.
You got to keep up, Maestro. You got to speed it up a little bit, Maestro. Let's go, Maestro. Let's go.
I got you, Drew, with the $5 super. Drew's making it rain tonight, G. I don't know if you can go blow for blow with Drew.
I think you read that one already. And I already
Yeah, you already read that one. It's right there, brother. Let's go, brother. So, let's go. Let's go.
Here we go. I got my producer in my ear. You know, things are kind of discombobulated. I kind of feel like
I'm helping them out, guys. Imagine you would be lost without me.
I kind of feel like the king, Deontay Wilder, you know, after he took that a little discombobulated.
I drugged him before the show.
You know, I think D-Style spiked my water. Maybe it was
tank top's too heavy.
Okay. Tank top is too heavy tonight, you know.
The fucking thing.
Or maybe it's the drip. Just kidding.
Read the fucking thing.
All right, I got it. I'm in here with the fucking super chat. I have respect for David, but at least he's willing to do what he has to do to earn a Canelo fight, unlike Charlo. Right. And I'm going to add another one, unlike Triple G.
Right.
Steve Rolls.
So look, I'm going to just say this. For everybody coming at me, in the chat, tell me when I said that Benavidez.
Hey, Blitzball, great panel. Thank you for the super chat, brother. We appreciate it.
Can I add this?
Canelo versus Benavidez. It's just a rematch of the Chavez Jr. fight with Benavidez throwing more punches because he's not weight trained. Thank you for the support, brother. Let's go. G-Funky, let's go, brother.
I want to add this.
I
at least Triple G found a new girlfriend. He found something else to do. Fucking Charlo, same shit. Benavidez, same shit. At least Triple G's taking a trip to Japan. He's going to get some yen. He's going to unify a title. I'm not even going to fucking bother with him because I don't see him asking for the Canelo fight. Charlo, I see you asking for it. Fucking Benavidez, I see you asking for it. Bro, fight each other or just go fucking somewhere.
And that's what Benavidez is trying. Like, he not only did he say, I want to fight Canelo, but he called Charlo a fucking pussy. He said, let's fight. Like, at least he's trying to mix it up with one of these guys. Yeah. And look, just because I say I think that Benavidez will give him a good fight, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're a hater, G-Funky, and you're picking him to win. Like,
it's your opinion.
Say that.
It's your opinion.
Say that. No, I'm just saying, like, we gotta stop being so sensitive, guys.
Hey,
take it easy out there.
Just disagree with it. That's all.
Hold on. I have to say this.
Go for it, Coach Malachi. Go for it. The floor is yours.
In defense of my dog, G-Funky. If you like Canelo, that's fine. But I gotta ask the elephant in the room. Maestro, are you a Canelo fanboy?
I am a acknowledger of Canelo's greatness. That's what I am.
He's a great fighter. He's a great fighter.
I own that 100%. This dude is great.
I'm an acknowledger. I like it. I'm an acknowledger.
I think he's good for boxing.
Is great.
I think he's good for boxing. I think in the last 11 months, the real reason that a lot of people hate him a lot right now is because in the last 11 months, he did what their favorite fighters failed to do time and time again. Unify, go undisputed, fight the champions, and do it in a timely fashion. If the cash cow of boxing is boxing 4 times in 11 months, that's actually really fucking good for boxing.
Yes, it is.
100%.
I applauded him the whole time.
Makabu went into the lion's den in Russia.
Watch this left hand. Watch this left hand. Watch this left hand.
Hey, careful with the copyright, brother. But go ahead.
Yeah, be careful.
Hands of Alexei Papin.
Getting the crowd on their feet.
Crowd is trying to inspire Papin.
Kind of a lovely uppercut in that exchange there. Did Papin on the left hook. Beautiful shot.
Look at that. He's got him hurt. The power puncher. He's got him hurt. He's got the power puncher.
All right. Are we doing PR for Canelo right now? Is that what we're doing?
Cut it out, man.
Bro,
are we doing PR right now? Like we're trying to sell these
right in front of him. Okay, he's fighting a zombie right there. Like Canelo ain't gonna be right there.
Let's just acknowledge that it's a threat, that it's moving
around
up.
the ring, pot shotting this dude. Like he's gonna make easy work out of this dude. Watch.
What is Benavidez doing to the great Russian? You know, he's got hands of stone. Alexei Papin. You know, what is he doing to him in Moscow, G? Come on now.
Look, let me just say this, okay? We all know Benavidez is a big kid, All right, he was over 200 pounds before in his life. Like, is it that crazy to think he could be a cruiserweight at one point at some point in the near future?
Well, here's
No,
the thing.
it's not crazy to think that.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with
Big kid.
Look. You know, I got Coach Malachi saying I'm a fanboy, and you know, I'm not effective.
Hey, Maestro, come on, man. you let it on too thick right now. you saw Makabu highlights. Yes, look at that left hand.
Let me tell you something. You're willing. Maestro is willing to get a copyright on his channel because he wants to show everybody. He wants to sell Makabu to people. Like, we don't need to look. At the end of the day, he's a cruiserweight. He's big. He's strong, and he could punch. That's all people need to know. We don't need to go out of our way and sell this dude like he's this big major threat. Like, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, and by the way, we got 123 people watching live, only 62 likes. Man, hit the fucking like button. Stop playing around. All right, let's go.
Hey, Maestro, listen, I mean to interrupt you, but all jokes aside, I'm happy that the brother got the bag. And now, of course, it's not official yet. You see what I'm saying? But the simple fact he comes from a poor country, you know, that country used to be called Zaire. You know, that's where he had to rumble in the jungle at. And you know,
Mobutu was the head of that country, you know, ravaged it for decades. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? But the simple fact that I'm happy for him that you know what I mean? I'm like, all jokes aside, I'm really happy for him. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal to me. It's an obsession. You know what I mean? But I'm really happy for that guy, man. And hopefully, if he get everything he's supposed to get, he doesn't, you know, he can take care of his family off of his payday.
Cut you off, Coach, but I agree with what you're saying. But I got to get to Drew. Watch how easy Bud Crawford sends Porter to retirement and stops him tomorrow. Well, that's actually Saturday, but we'll get to that. Look, here's what I got to say, and I'm
maybe.
I don't understand why all of the fanboys that believe in fake Africans and you know Wakanda forever and all of this other stuff. Why aren't you getting around the real African? He from the soil. He's from Congo. This dude's from Kinshasa. It doesn't get more African than that. Come on, you're not gonna rally behind Makabu, man? Come on now. Come on. Come on.
Can I add something? I just want to add something to this. I like that this allows the American bias to come out, that the Americans always feel that they're special. They feel that they're better than everybody. They think that their fighters are better than every other fighter in the world by default. And I like how this is exposing that in the fans, in the media. Makabu is just as much a champion, if not more, than Jermall Charlo, than David Benavidez was. And the reason I don't pity the plight of David Benavidez is because you did this to yourself. You lost the belt because you was treating your nose. The second time you lost it is because you blew the fucking weight. You don't even deserve to be in the running for a Canelo fight. And that's just how I feel as a boxing fan. If you can't even be bothered to make the weight for your own fucking fight, for your own fucking title, why the fuck should you be fast-tracked to a Canelo fight? There's a bunch of other guys that they're making the weight and they've got a belt. Makabu is one of them. So I'm okay with the fight. I actually like the fight because I think Canelo's going to go back to boxing instead of being a pressure fighter, which is what I like to see. I like seeing him staying off the line and firing counter shots. I think he's going to fight Makabu the way he fought Jacobs. I enjoyed that fight. The Plant fight, it was fun just watching him punch him. But that was a pressure fighter's fight. High guard, catch and shoot all fucking night long, walking the guy down, back on the ropes. It's not even really a fight. I feel this will have a more pleasing aesthetic, though I don't think it's going to last long. And I'm okay with it. I like Makabu. I like Makabu more than I like Jamal.
And you know, Benavidez agrees with you.
I don't know what happened to Maestro there, but really quick, Punch Drunk, and he's spotlighting a division which boxing fans and media have abandoned. Everyone now is Google searching other cruiserweights. LOL. So that is true. There are a lot of searching of cruiserweights and all that. Ding, ding, ding. There's the bell, guys. There you go.
And yeah, David Benavidez told us that when we interviewed him. Like, he was like, "Look, I messed up. This is my own fault. I got to earn my way back up there." So I mean, you gotta give him that. You know,
I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the guy. It's just that when I don't think it's fair to Canelo is what bothers me. And the same way I didn't think it was fair to Floyd, the same way I didn't think it was fair to Manny and Oscar. And this happens every era, and it irritated me in every single. Like, you guys can't just. Well, with Oscar they didn't do that because that was an era where guys fucking fought each other.
Yeah.
But we saw very recently, none of these welterweights wanted to do nothing without Manny. You know what I mean? These middleweights, these super middle, they don't want to do nothing. The light heavy, they don't want to do nothing. And it's causing the sport to dwindle. These guys need to fight each other to create excitement, to create a brand, so that he looks at you and says, you know what, maybe he ain't got a belt that I want, but there's a lot of fucking money in it, so let's do it.
There you go. Look, last thing, topic on Canelo for the night. You know, people want to hate. Let the haters hate. Dave Chappelle had to play it. The player haters ball. Okay. I need some of these dudes. Dave Chappelle's player haters ball. All right,
shout out to Dave Chappelle, by the way. Shout out to him.
Love Chappelle.
Absolutely. Get the player hater of the year award. You know, stand up there with all the player haters. All right, check that video out. You can see it on YouTube. It's hilarious. Okay, but here's the question in all seriousness. And Coach Amílcar, I'm going to go to you first, and then we're going to hit Porter, Crawford, which I want to get your opinion on before you got to go. All right. The question is, has Canelo done boxing fans a favor? Nando brought this up earlier in the super chat. In Nando's view, Canelo's essentially, by making this move up to 200 pounds, is forcing these guys to take on some fights. Or is he doing that? Maybe they won't take on tough fights. But Nando's view is he's moved up. Now guys at 175 are going to have to fight each other to try to get to Canelo rather than just wait. Now guys at 168 are going to have to fight each other now than just wait for the Canelo lottery ticket. Now guys at 160, Charlo, Triple G, Andrade are going to have to fight each other to get to Canelo rather than just wait. That's Nando's, hypotheses. Coach Amílcar, what's your thought on it?
When you was talking, I pulled up a video. I did a show yesterday talking about this. And what I talked about on the show yesterday, the video is called "Oh, Canelo is ducking again," says his critics. My thing is, I said this yesterday. I said, okay, by Canelo moving up the cruiserweight, whether you like it or not is irrelevant. I don't care either way. All I'm saying is, one guy is not bigger than the sport of boxing. Is he the cash cow? Yes, he is. He the top guy. He does what he wants to do. Yes, he is. But if Canelo decided to go to the moon, what are we going to do? Are we going to talk about he's not fighting this guy, that guy, that guy? Will the other fighters sit around and just wait on him? Are they going to say, you know what, man? Let me chart my own way. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, whatever criticism you have of Canelo, okay, fine. I have no issues with none of that, right? But what are the other guys going to do?
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Are you going to sit here and, I'm just going to wait on Canelo to come back and you ain't going to fight nobody? And then you have certain fans that'll come out and will defend I'm not saying G Funky, but I'm just saying like just certain people, they feel like, okay, it's like an obsession at this point. It's like an obsession at this point. You see what I'm saying? Like, dude, let it go. Like, okay, Jamal Charlo, you can fight. It's a lot of people you can fight. You can fight David Benavidez. You can fight the other guys. David Benavidez is kind of hard. Maybe he can fight Caleb Plant. I don't know. But these other guys have to fight. Stop sitting around like zombies. What is Canelo going to do? Oh, he's not fighting anybody. And he fought this moving up the cruiserweight. So to answer your question, yes, I think he's freed up everyone. Now, will they fight each other? That has yet to be seen. So we don't know.
G Funky, your name was mentioned, therefore I have to go to you next.
I said it wasn't G Funky though.
No. I said it wasn't G Funky. I wasn't throwing shots at G Funky.
I agree with you, Coach.
Maestro rule, name get mentioned. You go next. G Funky,
I agree with you, Coach. Look, how many
You're
times,
instigating.
Look, in the lead up to that Plant fight, the week of the Plant Canelo fight, like how many times did I have to mention that? Like, why in the fuck did Plant and Benavidez not fight? Like, it's just beyond me how they didn't make that fight. Like, I'm all for these guys fighting. I don't put up roadblocks. I'm ready for the smoke.
I want to add to the question that last year the reason that they didn't fight, which is another reason why I don't pity any of them, it was Samson Lukowicz that wanted to wait. It was David Benavidez's side. They wanted to wait. This was when Plant was advocating for the fight. He was claiming that he wanted to fight. I kind of believe him, kind of. That was the best fight at the time to have. And Samson Lukowicz was on camera saying that, you know, they want to wait. They want to wait. So when I see that, and I'm like, well, you guys just want to sit on your hands and wait for this. It's like, this is your own fault. You had ample opportunity to unify this division and get your marquee value up so that when Canelo comes around, you're some kind of a priority. But all of you sat on your hands. Smith, Saunders, Benavidez, Plant, you all sat on your hands. So the predicament you're in now is a predicament you deserve to be in. I'm elated that somebody other than these guys got the goddamn fight. That's the funniest shit in the world to me. Shit.
I'm right there with you, man. They're both champions under PBC. How the hell does that fight not happen? I don't
I think Charlo versus Benavidez, for what it's worth, as a pay-per-view, I honestly believe that does great business. So if they don't want to fucking make it, they're a bunch of fucking boneheads over there. They just fucking put Martin versus Ortiz on pay-per-view. But they can't make Charlo versus Benavidez. You could put that in Jerry's house, you know, down there in Texas. Do it in Jerry's house. It'll sell. But they make the wrong fights. They make the wrong fucking fights, and I don't pity those guys.
I want to go to Joe Habib, and then I want to go.
Well, real quick, Chief Funky, did you finish your point?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just saying, look, I agree that these guys need to get it on. I have no issue with that. Like, that's what I said at the beginning. If Canelo wants to be the reigning, defending, undisputed champion at 168 and just take on mandatories from each sanctioning body while these dudes get it on, I'm good with that too. You know, make them fight.
Joe Habib, then D-Style, but first I got to get to Drew. Again, this dude is hitting so many super chats. It's much appreciated here on Maestro Amílcar.
It was payday.
Triple G. We got to figure out what the triple G's mean, because it's definitely, I don't know. It's definitely not triple G as in the G as I understand it. But anywho, Triple G is still the only fighter who made himself a viable B-side to warrant the Canelo fight. I couldn't disagree more, but I respect it. Because of the super chat. But thank you very much. Let's go to Joe Habib and then D-Style boxing. Joe Habib, the floor is yours.
Well, I don't know if a fighter's ever done me a favor personally. So the way you worded that's kind of a little weird, but everyone's been saying the same thing, and I pretty much agree with it. I mean, these guys have not fought each other, and they're just sitting there waiting around. So that goes without saying. It's pretty obvious what's going on.
And last but not least, Mr. D-Style boxing.
You know, let me describe the typical boxing fan nowadays. Okay, and I see this in a lot of content creators as well. They over criticize the star name fighters, who are not above criticism, by the way, but they over criticize them, and they give passes to all the fighters below them, the ones that are big names or whatever. Like, they give a pass to the Charlos. They give a pass to the Andrades. They give a pass to everybody, right? I have to say, even Benavidez, right? Plant got passes. They all get a pass. They all, Canelo could fight whoever he wants, you know, but these guys, they have no control over their career. They have no control over nothing. Right? So I don't blame them for anything. I don't blame them for the crappy-ass resume. I don't blame them for not fighting each other. I don't blame them for ducking each other. I don't blame them for nothing. Right? Let me ask you guys this. Is Chocolatito this big world-renowned name with all this clout or something? Right? Or is he a dude fighting for $500,000 per fight and shit? Right? Yet he's fighting everybody in his divisions. The lower weight guys, the Gallo from Chocolatito to Rungizai to Julio Cesar Martinez to Inoue, they're fighting all comers. They always fight the champions. They always unify. They always fight their mandatories. They're always, you know, moving to the next weight class, fighting the next best guy. Josh Taylor couldn't even get his fight, his undisputed fight on Sky TV. But he became undisputed. He fought Prograis, and he fought Ramirez, okay, and Baranchik before that. Ramirez fought, you know, the Cepedas and Hooker, and then he unified. These guys aren't big names, but somehow they're getting it done, right? Somehow the dudes at 140, 130. Well, let's not even talk about 135 right now. Okay, but let's bypass them. But somehow there's guys in divisions that aren't big names, but somehow they're getting it done. Somehow they're unifying. Somehow, Castano, managed to be in the position he's in and say, yeah, I'll fight your mouth. Let's do it. Yes, I'll go over there. I'll cross the street. I'll snatch that belt from Teixeira, and I'll come back, and then we can unify. Somehow he was able to do it. But I'm expected to believe that Charlo and Andre, they're just poor guys. They just have no control at all. It's not their fault. They can't unify. Canelo's in a position where he can fight all of them. They have no control at all whatsoever. Now, fuck you. How about that? How about these guys start fighting each other? You think it's a coincidence when there's a big name like all these dudes never fight each other? They're waiting on their hands and knees. Okay, they're waiting for the payday. Okay, they're waiting for that stimulus check, as Calix Boxing put. Okay, that's what they're waiting. They're waiting on a Canelo stimulus check. That's all they're waiting for. All right. In all these other weight classes where there's no Canelo, right? They're fighting each other. But somehow in these weight classes, they're not fighting each other. There's a common denominator. Stop coddling these fighters. Stop treating them like victims. They're not victims. They're accepting fights for $700,000 against Figgin Buttses. Okay, they're getting really good money. All right, you could say, "Well, I don't blame them." Well, stop treating them like fucking victims. Stop doing that.
They offered Charlo $7 million, bro. It's one fucking fight, and he turns it down. And
I'll tell you what, that was confirmed by his own fucking brother. Okay, his own fucking brother and the matchmaker Golden Boy both confirmed that shit. Okay, so that's all I got to say about that. They're outpricing themselves. Plant almost fucking did it, but Canelo wanted that belt so fucking bad he was willing to pay his ass. Okay, there you go. There's a super chat, Maestro.
I'm gonna get to the super chat right now. Jaime Nieto, Charlo's an internet gangster. He came out running his mouth about David Denny Jacobs. And when they pulled his card, he shriveled up. Okay, I wanted to leave it to the end.
Let's go.
Dramatic effect, Will Lynch. Oops, my fault. Let me get that again. That's my road.
It's all right, brother. It's all right. Go ahead.
Acting a fool. Canelo haters should take a page from Callum Smith. Take the L and make a new career strategy. Everybody wants the clout. Nobody wants to work for it. I agree.
Add, his knockout over Lenin Castillo is by far better than any other knockout I've seen from Charlo and Benavidez.
Oh God! Don't remind me. I was watching that, worried about Lenin Castillo's health, his children, his family. It was really bad. I'm serious. I'm not even joking. It was really that bad of a knockout. But here's what I got to say. Maestro, he's a historian. I like to go into the archival footage, read into the history books. Or you guys need to check out some Fidel. They told Fidel he couldn't do it. He took on Batista, took him down. He went over. All right. Che, they went to Angola.
All right.
The Portuguese. They went over to apartheid South Africa, took them down to take on the challenges, guys. Yeah. Take them on. Yeah. Okay. I want to see Benavidez take on the other guys at 168. Triple G, take on a Charlo. Charlo, take on a Andrade. Okay. Why don't we get Baturviev against Bivol? Or I'll even settle for a Joe Smith. Okay. Fight each other. Stop waiting for Canelo. All right. I agree with the Nando theory. Okay. He's cleared out these divisions. Fight each other. Prove your worth. Get that Canelo fight by fighting
that super chat.
I'm gonna get the super chat right now. Dude. Should fight a champ at 175. Charlo and Andrade should unify. If not, fight a top super middleweight. These guys at 168 and 165 need to fight each other. Period. All right, challenge.
Hey, by the way, what would this guy do without me? Come on.
I know Joe loves a little Teddy with the shouts at the end. I got a little Teddy in me, unfortunately. Coach Malik, I will go right to you for the next topic first. Okay, we've got Crawford versus Porter. They're hitting the El Maestro at gmail.com account. It's inundated. You're not giving you're not giving Porter a chance. Okay, what's up with the Porter hate? Come on, he can knock him out. He's gonna catch him when he switches to southpaw. Why aren't you seeing it, Maestro? Well, I'm not. I'm not gonna tell you whether I'm seeing it or not. But Coach Malachi, is Porter being underestimated or overestimated going into this fight?
Well, from what I've been hearing, I didn't know Porter had this many damn fans. To be honest with you, but I get it. But I get it. I'm being honest with you. I get it. I get it. I really do get it. Porter is being. I don't think he's been underestimated. He might be being underestimated by the odds makers and a lot of the former fighters who are giving their predictions on the fight. But from what I'm seeing that's coming from certain boxing communities, these guys who hate Crawford, hate Crawford, they are saying that Crawford is going to get stopped. He may get knocked out, and Porter's going to be that guy. So I was able to catch it. You know, that's what they're saying. So from the experts, I would say they may be underestimating Porter. They're giving him props. They're saying that, hey, he's a tough fighter. He's going to bring the best out. He's going to do A, B, C, and D. But at the end of the day, this always ends with the experts, so to speak. But online, amongst the other boxing communities, especially the black boxing communities, and maybe even some of the other Latino communities as well, the guys who really hate Crawford, like they hate him, they're saying that Sean Porter is going to stop him. So I don't think he's been underestimated. Not online. I think they're saying that he's going to give Porter, he's going to give Crawford that business from what the people online are saying, from what I've seen, to be honest with you.
There you go. Let's go to G Funky, and then I'd love to hear from my brother Ring IQ. The floor is yours, G Funky. Ring IQ, go right after G Funky, please.
I'll say this. I agree with you, Coach. I didn't realize Sean Porter had this many fans and supporters out there, but we know what that's about. These guys just don't like Crawford, man. That's all it is. And look, I really like Sean Porter. I've been saying it for a really long time here on YouTube. He's about that smoke. He's fighting everybody in the division, win, lose, or draw. And these are not easy fights. He's got a lot of majority decision losses, split decision wins, split decision, like all that. He's a tough out, man, for anybody, So I got a tremendous amount of respect for Showtime Sean Porter. However, I do not see him beating Terrence Bud Crawford. I just think Crawford's on another level. And once he switches to southpaw, that's usually the end of the game. I did a breakdown already on my channel. If anybody wants to go ahead and check that out, they can. I don't want to go too deep into it because we got a lot of people on the panel, but I just think that his style is tailor-made for Terrence Crawford. I think the last time we seen Porter against a guy who can fight on the back foot and counter on the back foot was Keith Thurman, and he landed a lot of clean check left hooks, right hands on Porter while he was coming in. And I think this is going to be the same situation here, but just more and more better. And he's going to do a paintbrush job on Porter. He's going to be swelled up by the end of the fight. I'm taking Crawford 9-3, unanimous decision in this one, man. Go ahead, Ring.
Well said. Before you go, really quick, Jaime Nieto, I like Porter, but I got Bud stopping him. I appreciate the support, brother. Maestro does either way. Nando Yama says, I would hate to drive anywhere with D-Style in the back. It'll wind up like opening scene of Goodfellas. Jesus Christ. Shout out to Nando Yama, HCP to my brother. Shout out to you. Go ahead, Ring.
I made up my mind about this fight over a year ago when people were saying that Crawford would get stopped by Porter. My mind hasn't changed. I don't have a lot of thoughts about the fight. I'm just glad that Porter stepped up and he's doing the right thing. I think he's doing the right thing. He's showing what kind of fighter he is. I've always had him getting stopped because Crawford's just a different beast than these guys, and he's going to show that on Saturday. I've talked about this fight so much over the last, I think, maybe year and a half, that I have nothing more to say. Crawford stoppage late.
All right. Go ahead, Beeb.
Yeah, I don't know if Porter's being underestimated because a lot of people are saying this is going to be Crawford's toughest test at welterweight. So by saying that, I don't know how you could be underestimating Porter. I mean, he's a plus 425. Crawford's a minus 600. I like both fighters, but it's just hard to go against Terrence Crawford. He's just much more versatile, and I think his length, and he can fight on the inside too. And when Porter kind of gets close, he smothers his punches a little bit. And Crawford's stronger than a lot of people think. I do think the fight goes the distance. I could be wrong on that, but if I'm going to bet this fight, I would just bet Crawford to win by decision, or take the over. It's one of those types of fights, just like the Spence fight, where I believe that, the fight was looked at as being more competitive than it was, just because the rounds were hard fought. At the end of the fight, I had Spence winning 8 of those 12 rounds. And this could be a similar situation where people may look at what Porter's doing and they may say, wow, look how great this fight is. And it could very well be a great fight. But I have a feeling when I add it up at the end of the night, I'm going to have at least 8 or 9 rounds for Crawford.
Take the over, B. Damn right.
Yeah, taking the over.
Freestyle boxing.
So check this out.
Underestimated.
Look, people are overestimating this dude. Okay, let me tell you something right now. Okay, Porter is that like domesticated dog that lives in the back, all chained up, always barking and shit, like it's big, and it's like the pit bull, tough. Like, I mean, if you're a little kid, you don't want to throw the ball on the other side because you ain't gonna climb that fence and get that ball. Forget about it. He's gonna get that ball. He's gonna destroy it, right? But Crawford is a fucking wolf from the woods and shit. Okay, that's what Crawford is. Okay, that dog ain't gonna do shit to that wolf. Have you ever seen a domesticated dog in the presence of a wolf? It trembles. Okay, it feels dominated from the moment it sees it. All right, and I'm telling you right now, the way this dude lunges in, okay, he's gonna get caught. He's going to get caught lunging in. He's never fought a guy that could time you coming in like Terrence Crawford. Point blank, he's never in his life. But he fought Spence. Spence, that's not Spence's style. Okay? It's not. Plus, I thought he lost a Ugas fight. He's going to get caught lunging in. He's either going to get stopped early, or he's going to try to box Crawford. Well, good luck with that, bro. You're going to get outboxed easy. Okay? I don't think this is a very competitive fight. I'm not saying it's not a good fight, but it's not going to end up. On paper, you call it whatever you want. I think Crawford's going to beat the shit out of John Porter.
Whoa, I don't agree with that. I second that. I think it's going to be a lot easier and a lot less competitive than the Spence fight. I do have him getting stopped, and I'll go as far as saying it could very well happen early. It could.
That's right. Because let me tell you something. He's a big bad wolf. He's going to huff and he's going to puff, and this motherfucker ain't no brick house. Okay.
Parallel I want to make is the Felix Diaz fight. The only difference is Porter's more durable, takes a better punch. But I do feel that the aesthetic of this fight is going to be akin to the Felix Diaz fight. Little guys staying off the line, coming forward, trying to land shots, and getting punched square in his fucking face, the whole time.
Now, just to finish, one more thing I want to say, okay? I get it. You know what? I keep hearing, Batista, he's a really tough guy. Okay, he's a tough guy. Okay, let me tell you something. You know who else is tough? Okay, everybody at that level is tough. Okay, that don't mean shit to me. Oh, he's tough. So what if he's tough? He's supposed to be tough, right? Good for him. All right. I think Crawford stops him under 8 rounds. I think it's going to be a one-sided fight, one-sided affair.
He's taking the under, He's taking the under.
If that's the under, take the under.
Hey, Master, I want to add to this. I'm gonna say this. I've been following Sean Porter since 2013 and Crawford. I kind of discovered them around the same time. And I think Crawford, when he fought on Ricky Burns in 2014, I've been watching both of them. I love Sean Porter. He's a really nice guy, good father, good husband. Good, to his wife, stuff like that. But Sean Porter fights the same way. Literally, he fights the same way. Pattern. I call it the bulldog style, where he's just gonna come in and he's gonna, as the rounds go on, he start lunging punches, throwing these wide hooks. Like literally, he fights the same way. And I'm like, I try to be as objective as possible. Okay, Crawford is my favorite fighter, but I gotta try to be objective here. And I just keep coming back with the same thing. I'm like, dude, if he fights Crawford the way he fought Errol Spence, it might be maybe an early night or a late night for him. And I just don't see he's going to be in your chest. We know what Porter's going to do. He's coming in there. He's going to be in your chest. He's going to start lunging and swinging those punches wide. That's how he got caught with that hook by Errol Spencer. Got dropped in the 11th round. He caught him like this.
Broner caught him too.
Broner caught him, coach.
Yeah. Ugas caught him. They didn't call it a knockdown. They didn't call it a knockdown. So I get it. He's tough. He's hard. He's a pit bull. He's going to expose Bud. All of that. And I understand all of that. And despite all of that, man, I just keep coming up with the same conclusion, bro. Like, this guy's going to come with the bulldog style. He's going to be bulldogging. He's going to come in and the same shit. Pop, straight punches right down the middle. Going to get him every goddamn time. And one more thing. Crawford has better footwork than Spence.
Yes.
So you can't sit back and say, oh, look what he did to Spence. Listen, Crawford has better footwork than Spence.
Yes, he does.
Spence pretty much fights flat-footed. So, I'm just saying, like, I'm calling him like it is, bro.
One more quick point to add to Coach's points. And let me tell you something. He's better in the clinch and on the inside than Cal Brook too. Okay, yeah. And Cal Brook neutralized his ass. Well, what do you think Crawford's going to do? But go ahead and get that super chat, Maestro.
I'm going to get to that right now. The Boxing Historian 206. $5 super chat. Very, very nice, everybody. Canelo should fight Anthony Joshua at heavyweight next. Okay. Drew. What the hell is going on with my mixer? You're going to be shocked by how easy football Sean gets stopped. Well, you know what? This ain't strong safety. This ain't middle linebacker. Okay, this ain't fullback. It's not tailback boxing, everybody. Okay.
Lemon pepper, let's go.
Lemon pepper, real quick. Malachi and Porter look alike. Are y'all brothers? Ooh, I wouldn't have gone there.
It's a great point you made, Coach, about the footwork. Spence is he fights in a line. He's in and out, straight in and out. As where Crawford can utilize lateral movement, circle around the ring. Yeah. Just a different type of fighter, man.
Crawford's got really quick feet too.
So I got to give my perspective on this. Look, I was on the Undefeated podcast. Shout out to my brothers, KG, the comedian, Travis, out there in the UK. Best podcast out there from those shores. And I gave my opinion. I essentially predicted Crawford in pretty much a one-sided fight. Then I was going on live with D-Style yesterday. The phone lines were flooded. We couldn't get to all of the calls, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. And people wanted to talk.
They were flooded, huh? Flooded lines.
They were flooded. Hey, at least that's what I saw on my switchboard. Anyhow, here's my thing.
If they email you, were they upset? They email I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Maestro Boxing Gmail account was flooded. What can I tell you?
It's a joke, everybody. It is what it is. Go ahead.
All right. Anyways, the point that I was making is a very simple one. All right. Look, I'm blessed to live in New York City. I live in the Bronx. I take the 4 train down to the Barclays Center when the PBC shows their fights. And I've seen a number of Sean Porter fights, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Keith Thurman, unanimous decision. Okay. Andre Berto. Okay. He got the TKO on that one, but it was Andre Berto.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Granados, unanimous decision. Danny Garcia, unanimous decision. Guys, let's look at his last fight, ladies and gentlemen. Sebastian Formella, unanimous decision. He's clearly being overestimated. Guys, are you telling me that a dude that went 12 rounds with Sebastian Formella and Adrian Granados, no disrespect to the Shy, love the Shy, but that he's going to outbox Crawford? He's not. Okay? And his only shot is really knocking out Crawford. Did he knock out Formella? No. He didn't. In fact, Conor Benn looked better against Sebastian Formella than Sean Porter did.
Maestro, can I add something?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Felix Diaz looked better against Granados than Sean did.
Thank you. So this guy who went 12 rounds with Thurman, Granados, Garcia, and most recently Formella is all of a sudden gonna knock out Terrence Crawford? Come on, guys. Let's not play silly, okay? I know Christmas is coming up, but I got news for you. Santa Claus doesn't exist, unfortunately.
Man,
I'm sorry.
just ruined my Christmas.
All right, he doesn't. It's your mom and dad wrapping up those presents, or maybe Amazon Prime is these days. Okay, but Sean Porter ain't knocking out Terrence Crawford, and you damn well know that he's not beating him over 12 rounds. So let's stop it. Here's what we're trying to see. We're trying to see whether or not Crawford does better than Spence did.
He will.
And that's pretty much it. This is a litmus test fight. It's a litmus test fight.
Porter
Okay.
hasn't.
By the way, shout out to James Jackson. This fight's going to look similar to Bud versus Horn. Thank you for that super chat, brother. True. Even at this age, Crawford is also still the best athlete at 147, and the footwork and ability is better than any current champ or contender. Thank you for the support to Maestro A Boxing. Virtuoso, we also thank you. All you got to do is take one train down to Madison Square Garden and watch Loma knock out Comey. Virtuoso, you're the man, brother. Thank you for that support. Ding, ding, ding. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
I got a question. With the absence of Errol Spence Jr., the absence of Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia has ascended to the 154-pound stratosphere. Is this the end of the PBC stronghold at 147 pounds?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I want to add to what Maestro was saying about him going 12 with a lot of these guys. Look, Porter hasn't even had a knockdown since 2017.
Yeah,
like he just doesn't have that kind of power to be stopping.
Well, he doesn't give himself the space to generate.
Bud's never been down either. I've never. I mean,
he's been down. He's been down.
If you want to call the Kavalauskas thing a knockdown, I'm good with that. I feel like it was a knockdown too, but on like a legit knockdown, like as far as the ruling, no, he's never been down.
I'll tell you this, G Funky. To me, Crawford actually gets better when he gets knocked down or gets buzzed because the dog comes out of him. And then he starts to put on a fight. He's got like the biggest chip on his shoulder in the world and tries to show you that, you know what, I'm better and badder than you are. Look at the Gamboa fight. Gamboa actually touched him up in the round that he got knocked out in.
Well, I think the worst thing that could happen to Sean Porter in this fight this Saturday is he actually lands a punch, because if he lands a punch, it's really, really over for him. You know, it is. The worst thing that could happen is he actually gets through with something, because it's really over after that. And it's going to be one. I like, the more I think about this fight, which I haven't thought about it too much because I've talked about it so much over the last year, but the more I think about it now, hearing you guys, I'm envisioning something really one-sided, to where you've never seen Porter hit this much before. You've never seen him in this condition. That's kind of the sense that I'm getting now. I like Sean. I hope he retires after this and does commentator work. I think he's great for the sport inside and outside of the ring. But I do think he's about to get his fucking ass kicked.
He's going to be lumped up after this one.
He's going to get his ass kicked. He can get his ass kicked.
Well, I don't disagree with you. We got another super chat from the Boxing Republic, member of the HCP community 199. No Mekai Sean. Shout out to HCP, hashtag HCP Network. That is, of course, everybody that's up here with us tonight. And look, I got to give you guys a little bit of a preview, okay, of Saturday night. You know, Sean Porter, he's got an illustrious background behind him. You know, he's going to bring that into the equation on Saturday night. And look, at the end of the day, you know, some things are boxing, some things are not.
Versus Field.
Holy shit, dog! I wasn't
let me tell you something, man. He might just tackle Crawford out of frustration, some shit. You know what I mean?
Tackle City. Okay. So look, we'll get into the WBC convention at the end, but before we get into that discussion, about kind of some of the rulings that were made, and I want your opinions on them. Quick opinions, okay? Quick takes, real quick takes, not hour-long quick takes. Ask you guys, for keeping it short here, guys, okay? Real quick takes. All right, I'm going to ask you guys to rank sanctioning bodies. Give me your top 4. I don't know if you want to include the IBO there or not. Rank them from best to worst. Coach Malachi, I'm going to give you the floor first because I know you got to go.
Yeah,
all right.
Yes, sir. Yes, I gotta bounce, guys, man. Anytime I'm up here with Habib, you got kind of like a love-hate relationship with a lot of people, so I don't know what's going on with you. So, my main man Julius, man, I watch his show every day. I watch all you guys. I watch like 5 people's shows every day. I kind of cut back on a lot of stuff. Julius, we both Capricorns, so I rock with the Capricorns. You know what I mean? I got a bias there. I hate the sanctioning bodies. I don't like WBC. I'm just being honest with you. Don King used to damn near own that, not own it, but him and Jose Suleiman used to do all kind of stuff together. A lot of good business together for them. I'm not a sanctioning body guy. To be honest with you, to me, just the WBC is between them and the IBO. The IBO is the best. The IBO is the best. I'll say that. Maybe the IBF. I say the IBF probably the IBF. The IBF, the IBO, or the IBO and the IBF. But the WBC and the WBA, you can pick. That's a pick on which one is the worst. I'll say that.
There you go, Coach Malachi. Dinging the bell for you, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yes, sir.
Tune in to Coach Malachi Sunday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. He goes live every day. Unfortunately, I usually can't tune in because I'm at school, at work, but I catch the on demands. Check him out, 3 p.m. Eastern. Coach Malachi.
Shout out to all of the content creators, even the ones I don't get along with, that don't like me, is neither here nor there. Shout out to all of you guys. We are the ones who are helping keeping the sport of boxing alive, to be honest with you. We're doing our jobs, you know what I mean? So shout out to the content creators. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at Coach_Malachi. You can follow me on Instagram at Coach Malachi Williams. Follow me on YouTube, New Media Today USA Boxing. And follow me my podcast on Spotify and Amazon Music, New Media Today USA Boxing. Other than that, guys, that's it, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Have a good one, Coach. Thanks
Coach,
for coming
take it easy.
man.
All right, be easy, brothers. Be easy, my brother.
Okay. Now there were 4. I'm sure D-Style is going to pop back in.
Can I go next?
I'm going to go for you right now, bro.
Can I go next? I love it.
I was going to say, man, Coach stole my answer, bro. I'm going to be real quick with it. Get rid of the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and let's just give it all to the IBO. Let's start over fresh, baby. One fucking belt, one sanctioning body per division. Let's go.
Wow. Okay. Joe Habib.
I dislike them all equally. They don't even deserve to be ranked, any of them. That's it.
All right. Looks like I'm going to have to go to Ring IQ. Ring IQ, what are your thoughts? Do you have any preference at all as it relates to these sanctioning bodies?
Yeah, my preferences are based on which mandates come down. So as hard as this is to believe, I actually like the WBA right now. I would rank them in order: WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC. And the reason for this, I used to be very big on the IBF, but I heard a rumor right around the time the Alphabet Commission was putting the squeeze on the WBA that certain of the WBA's officials have migrated over to the IBF. And the reason you're not seeing mandates coming down as quickly as they used to is because of those officials. Errol Spence has not satisfied an IBF mandatory. There are several other cases like this. Jermell Charlo, he was ordered to fight Murtazaliev back in July. We're in November and no fight. Nobody's being stripped. The same pressure that used to be there is not there now. Whereas if I look at the WBO and what mandates have come down and are set to come down, they're making good fights. Crawford versus Porter is one. Tim Tszyu versus Brian Castano will be another. You know, the WBC continues to be a sack of shit. I don't know why they're viewed as the most prestigious
Order is
sanctioning
one.
body. Zoo versus Brian Castano will be another. Yeah, it's like an echo. And yeah, so it's WBO for me. WBO, WBA, IBF, and WBC.
Well, there you go. D-Style.
I mean, I feel like you're asking me like, what's worse, like vomit or shit or diarrhea? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel right now. But look, is it from worst to best or best to worst?
You can go best to worst.
Okay, so I'll have to say, and by the way, this is not some award. I don't want to see the IBF be like, "Oh, D-Style said we're the best." Like, you're just the best of like the worst, right? So I'm gonna say IBF because they do stay true to their mandatories, and I always did tell people like, "Look, I mean, Teofimo needs to fight Camboza, so they will strip him, and if you really want the real undisputed." They'll strip him of that belt, and then somebody else will get it, etc. Right? So I'll have to say the IBF is the best, but that's not saying a lot. After that, I'll have to actually say the WBO, even though they have, like, I just found out they have a super champion. Like Beep told me about that, and I'm like, what? They have a super champion too? But so that's kind of crazy, right? I'm not a big fan of if you move up and you're a super champion, you become like the mandatory. I'm not a fan of that at all, but okay, whatever. But that's the least of my worries. And then I'm gonna have to say the WBC after that. The WBC, obviously, I mean, they had the single worst act, like using a child that saved his sister's life to promote a new division. Right, and he's parading them around in the convention, so nobody criticizes him about it. I mean, that's what he's doing. I don't care what anybody says. What he's doing, right? And then the franchise thing, I'm not a fan of it. Obviously, I don't like this idea that you make somebody franchise and they're elevated, and the guy below them is just a regular champion. But the worst is the papasotes of them all, the WBA. Look, the WBA has more champions than all the other sanctioned bodies combined. Okay. Like, if you think franchise is bad, they got a franchise in every division. They have a super champion and a regular champion, and somehow it's become okay. Somehow people just accept it and shit. Like, they're allowed to have another champion, even though there's like an undisputed champion, and nobody debates about it. Everybody, it's been so normalized that nobody says like, "Oh, Moriel, I mean, he's a champion at 168. Is Canelo really undisputed?" No, nobody talks about that, right? Tank is like fighting for championships, and they're promoting it as a world title fight. When like we have an undisputed champion in Taylor, you know, already. Okay, we just had like I was seeing people, oh, Jamal James, he lost his world title. What do you mean? Like, he's a champion? What the hell's going on over here? And then they have like 5 champions at heavyweight. Can't make this shit up. I turn around, they have a new champion, and then they have the audacity to come out and be like, "Oh, we're gonna start lowering the amount of champions," and all they're doing is having their interim champions fight each other. Like that's all they're doing. They're just limiting their interim champions. Like whoopie doo, bullshit. The WBA is by far the worst of them all. They have more titles than the other sanctioning bodies combined. Enough said.
All right, I'm going to get to my list in a moment. First, I want to thank James Jackson with the super chat. This fight going to look similar to Bud versus Horn. He's talking about Crawford versus Porter, and I tend to agree with him. I mean, Horn tried the bully box tactics. Didn't quite go very well.
I already got that super chat though, but I got you.
Oh, you got it? Oh, my fault.
We got it. I think the one did you get this one?
No, I didn't get that one.
That's the only one missing, brother. And then you're caught up.
Okay, keeping up here. Thank you. What does the panel think the sanctioning bodies are planning after having that brunch meeting where they posted it on social media? I'll ask you guys that now, actually. Let's go to Ring IQ before I give my ranking. What do you think about that when you see these presidentes de esas organizaciones, you know, having brunch with one another like some New York City liberals?
I think that they're trying to devise a way to squeeze the promoters for more money, because there's only one reason they would all come together. Not that long ago, Paco Veracel himself was blasting the WBC and the WBO as organizations for the proliferation of belts. All of a sudden, they're having brunch. I believe the nature of the brunch is so that they can form an alliance that finds a way to squeeze these promoters, because what else could bring them all to the same table?
D-Style. Brunch.
Sanctioning body organizations doing sanctioning body organization stuff. That's all I'll say.
G-Funky. I don't know whether they enjoyed the Eggs Benedict or maybe some waffles or pancakes, but you know, what's your impression of them meeting over brunch, to Drew's question?
Maybe it was the eggs Florentine. I don't know. I mean, but
Those are good. Those are
look,
good.
I tell you this, man. The bottom fucking line here is cash. That's all I'm gonna say.
And last but definitely not least, Joe Habib. First of all, are you a fan of brunch? And second of all, what are your thoughts on these guys having brunch with one another?
I don't eat brunch. I don't eat breakfast. All right. I like to eat like later in the day, so I'm not a fan of it. Just kind of like photo op stuff, basically. Much to do about nothing. They usually have these things, and not much really gets done. They come up with stupid rules that no one really cares about. So I don't think it's very productive.
My response to the brunch is, you know, photo op opportunity. You know, those sanctioning fees got to be used for something, right? I mean, why not fly out to some destination first class? You know, stay in a 5-star hotel, right? Head downstairs to the lobby, have a little brunch. You know, sanctioning bodies got to be used. Sanctioning fees got to be used for something, right? So look, here's my opinion on the ranking of the sanctioning bodies, which themselves rank. And I'm going to go to a little visual aid for this. You know, I got to get my visual learners. You know, we got those who like to listen, those kinesthetic learners that like to move around. We got the visual learners too that like to see things. All right, and this is gonna help.
I'm sorry for the audio audience. You guys will have to just watch the video.
Right, audio audience, I'm sorry about that, but I've full screened the heavyweight division with the ranking system, and this is gonna help me kind of itemize what I think here. Look, WBC, you got 2 world champions listed. You got an interim champ while you have an active champ. That automatically disqualifies you for being number 1. I'm sorry. We go to the WBA. You motherfuckers got 3 world champions. I get it. You got rid of the gold title. Okay, thank you very much. Robert Helenius is no longer your 4th world champion. Thank you. Okay, but that automatically disqualifies you for being number 1 or number 2 at this point. So it really boils down to the IBF and the WBO. And I'm sorry, IBF. We've got one division where your number 1 contender's not rated, heavyweight. Then we've got the second, cruiserweight, number 1 not rated. I don't understand how that even works. How does that happen? All right, number 1 is just blank. Okay, we go to down to 168, the top 2 contenders, not rated. Okay. We go down to middleweight, top 2 contenders, not rated. That's interesting. Look, it's ridiculous, guys. All right. I don't know if they have any more that are not rated. Oh, yeah, we got to go down to featherweight, top 2 under Kiko Martinez, not rated. All right. Super bantamweight, 122 pounds under Akhmadaliev, top 2 contenders, not rated. You guys at brunch, I guess. I guess you're not rating guys, right? Bantamweight, 118, top 2, not rated. Super flyweight, top 2 under Yuan Akak.
I think we understand, Maestro. IBF has a lot of non-rated guys. I got it.
So I get it. Yeah, thank you, D-Star, for reeling me in there.
We got it. We understand. We understand.
WBO. I got to go to WBC number 2.
Oh, don't do that.
Right? I'm sorry to do it, guys, but I got to do it. It's not the green belt. It's not the Maya belt, the Mestizo belt, okay? It's not the money belt.
Can I buy a bottle?
It's, you know, it's not
$1 million belt.
the $1 million belt. It's literally
They should make a Nordic belt for like the Eastern European guys.
That's true. They don't have one of those.
Make a Lebanese title.
But what I will say about them that gets them up to number 2, all right, believe it or not, is their convention. You know, at least they make decisions there. They publicize the decisions. The boxing content creators like us can at least start to criticize their decisions, which we're going to get into next to wrap up the show. You know, there's a little bit of transparency there. You know, sometimes it's hypocritical. I acknowledge that. Sometimes it doesn't make much sense. I acknowledge that too. But at least they put it out there. I have no idea why the IBF doesn't rank their top 2 heavyweights below Alexander Usyk. What's the methodology? I have no idea. At least I know what the methodology of WBC is. You know, they get a few guys in a room, they make up some shit, they write it down, they send out a press release, and we understand it.
I think the reason the IBF doesn't do that is if there is a mandatory, he becomes number 1. But what that essentially means is that at this time, Alexander has no mandatory, and when he gets one, they'll be put into that position, which I actually like the way that they do it the best, or at least I used to. Once again, based on the rumor I heard, the IBF is not going to be they're not going to be the old IBF that we got used to. I'll put it that way.
So here's my ranking. WBO, unfortunately, and the funny thing is it's a splinter offshoot of the WBA, for those of you who don't know that. WBC number 2, IBF number 3, and guys, it's silly season, yo. Every division with the WBA. I mean, they literally at some point had 5 world champions, 1 division. I mean, come on now. All right,
IBO.
so there you go.
IBO is the way to go.
IBO. So let's see what the poll says before I go to a truncated version of my last question. I don't know where the poll is at right now. I don't even see it on my screen.
All right, so we have 51 votes. IBF 45%, WBC 25%, WBA 0%, WBO 29%. The question, of course, what's the best sanctioning body? IBF is winning.
I only voted for the IBF because there was no IBO on the damn poll. All right.
All right. So look, we're gonna wrap up this. Quick takes, guys. Don't take an hour here. You know, I wanted you to keep
You're gonna tell us, Maestro. I mean, we're good.
With quick takes. Okay. Look, I'm not gonna go through it division by division. The WBC made a decision on various things. Those of you who've been following the news know now that, you know, they've cleared Canelo to fight for Makabu's 190-pound championship. Apparently, they're dropping it from 200. Apparently, Errol Spence Jr. has been cleared, right, to start defending his title again. You know, I think probably the most notable news out of this whole situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like Tyson Fury ain't even going to have to defend his belt against Dillian White, because Dillian White decided to sue the WBC, which according to them means that they can't make a decision on his status and therefore no longer have to mandate that Fury defend his title. Are there any takeaways from the convention that you think are noteworthy? Question number 1. And question number 2, did Dillian White do a Plaxico Burress and shoot himself in the foot by suing the WBC? G Funky, I'm going to go to you second. Joe Habib, give me your thoughts first, please.
I think the biggest news of the convention was just having Canelo there, and he was talking, and he met Makabu, and they were talking about having their potential fight. That seemed to be the biggest news. Dillian White just prolonged an already arduous process of him getting that mandatory by filing a lawsuit. And WBC, technically, they really can't do anything until that lawsuit is settled. So he did shoot himself in the foot. Absolutely.
I agree about the Dillian White situation. He should just move on. Fuck him. Fuck the WBC. And look, the one thing I'll say about this, obviously the big news, the Canelo news, moving up to cruiserweight. But I mean, again, with all this weird, wild shit that they do, I mean, the only thing consistent about the WBC is they're inconsistent. That's about it. Everything is case by case. Fuck out of here. I don't want
Case by case.
I'm tired of them.
In one universe, Teofimo Lopez is a champion. In another universe, it is Haney. On Monday, it is Teofimo. On Tuesday, Devin Haney.
It's garbage.
There you
Dumpster
go.
juice is what the
D-Star,
WBC
why don't I
is.
just go to you next? D-Star, what are your thoughts on the WBC convention, on Dillian White?
Look, I mean, as far as Dillian White goes, look, I criticized Dillian White a lot over the years, but I do feel like can he just get a shot already? It's like just let him get a shot, But I mean, look, he did have an opportunity to rematch AJ. He didn't take it, as Beeb explained to me yesterday. So I mean, he's had opportunities to go for another world title, but I do think it's convenient, though, of Mauricio to say, he did take us to arbitration, so there's nothing we could do. So you can't call the guy and just be like, yo, what would it just give you your mandatory? You want to take it? And they could do that. They could call Dillian White and just get that shit sorted out. They could do that, right? So I don't know. I think all around, it's not handled well by the WBC. I just got to be honest about that. But I mean, I'm not shedding a tear for the guy. They still didn't let Russ Abner, inspect his glove before the fight with Oscar Rivas. So it is what it is. He said he gave himself a setback when he got knocked out by Povetkin. So it is what it is, right? But as far as the convention, look, man, please stop parading this poor kid around. All right, he saved his sister from a rabid dog. He's inviting the kid over, bro. The kid has nothing to say. You have anything to say? He's he's looking at his dad, and his dad's grabbing the mic. He loves you, Canelo. He's a big fan. Can we just stop it, Mauricio? Nobody wanted this division. Nobody wanted Bridgerweight, and that's it.
You can't talk about a boy that got mauled by a dog. Stop it.
No, but I'm not talking about the boy. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. He's parading the kid around, and I don't care what anybody says. He's doing it so it looks like a good cause. That's why he's doing it. Oh, we're doing the bridge between cruiserweights and heavyweights, and we name it after Bridger, a hero of mankind who saved his sister.
Yo, he really said that though.
Yeah, he did.
He really said that.
He doesn't want people to criticize him. He doesn't want people to criticize him for the belt, and he wants to make it seem like this great cause. Mauricio, well, why don't you just pay the kid's college or some shit? You know what I mean? Take care of his family or something. You don't got to take a piece of Oscar Rivas' purse. You know what I mean? Because that's what it is. And I just find it funny how he's forcing his division. And I'll be honest, it's softened the blow. He's not getting as much criticism for just making up this division. All right. Usyk gave him the middle finger, said, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to fight at heavyweight. Right. And he pushed this thing. To me, that's the highlight of the convention, to me.
Well, T-Cell, I agree with you. I was on the Boxing Voice a couple weekends ago, and, I brought up that, I felt it was a PR play. I felt it was a stunt. I felt it was a very cynical ploy to soften the blow, as you put it, of criticism towards the Bridgerweight division. And all I heard was, Maestro, you can't talk about that. You can't say to the kid that was mauled that anything's bad about his title. Maestro, stop it. No. Guys, I'm not criticizing the child, obviously. I'm criticizing the fact that the WBC cynically used the child, all right, to justify their very decision, which they knew would be scrutinized and criticized, okay, to create a brand new division and collect more fees. Okay, I'm not going after the child, all right, for all of the community members of Boxing Voice and all of the people that sub and throw in their counter punches, okay? You want to counter punch against me? You want to give Nets $10 more because I decided to criticize the Bridgerweight division? All right, look, guys, come on, be real. All right, now, as it relates to this Dillian White situation, dude, wasn't he up next? Wasn't he next man up? I mean, to me, it's like you show up at the court, you got your team ready, you know, me, G Funky, Joe Habib, Ring IQ, and D Style. You know, we next up, right? We ready to play, right? We're ready to play against a team that's on there, you know, dunking and alley-ooping and hitting those three-point shots. And then right before the game starts, we're like, you know what? We're suing you. Let's go to the people's court. No, I don't understand that move. Okay. You're next up. Everybody thought you were going to be fighting Fury. If Fury didn't fight you, it would have looked really, really bad. And now the WBC's given Fury the excuse he needs to take on a fight that more people want him to see, which is either AJ or Usyk, and he can do whatever he wants to do in the interim. Not that I thought this fight was going to be difficult for Fury, because I absolutely don't think that it would be. But definitely bad move on that. And then obviously the big news out of the convention to me was what we led the show with, which is Canelo moving up to cruiserweight and taking on Makabu, and that being sanctioned. Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter, 6 p.m. Eastern, Sundays, every week with Eric Lorta. Make sure you tune in. Do you have any final words for Roundtable numero 55, number 55? Joe, the floor is yours.
I think this fight with Porter and Crawford's interesting for betting, because if you really do like the knockout for Crawford, he's a plus 160 with the stoppage proposition, and he's a minus 130 for the decision. I like the decision, but again, those are pretty good odds either way.
There you go. G Funky, HCP is War, Monday nights, okay, 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, it's HCP is War. It's HCP Uncensored. Go get that smoke if you think you can take the toke. It's G Funky Boxing. What's good, my brother? Final thoughts.
Look, man, this has been a great show, lively conversation. And that's the beautiful thing about HCP. We don't always agree, but we talk it out. All right. We get it done, baby. Okay. And look, if you enjoyed the show tonight, I'll be hosting the Roundtable next Wednesday. It won't be Thursday, it'll be Wednesday because of the holiday. A lot of people celebrate the holiday, so we're going to do it on the day before. So the link to my channel is in the chat right now. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to check us out next Wednesday, go ahead and do that, man, and continue to support HCP, because we're not an echo chamber. All right, we're the alternative to the echo chamber. So support that real boxing talk. Subscribe to everybody here on the panel, and that's that.
Well, we definitely know that. You know, we got a little disagreement, you know, last week, you know, clout gate, as I called it. You know, was it a clout chase to take 2 belts to another man's post-fight press conference and add them to another 4 belts for a total of 6?
Yes, it was.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
You know, plus your dad handed them to you.
Oh, no.
Ring IQ, question number 1, was it a clout chase? Number 2, your thoughts. Go for it.
My only thoughts on the convention, I'm not surprised that the WBC found another way to not order the fight. What I am surprised about is that Fury has to be forced to fight this very flawed heavyweight, it seems. You don't need the WBC to order the fight. If you want the fight, you do the fight. And it seems like the only way Fury does the fight, I guess, and I hope it changes, is if they force him to. As far as the clout chase, it definitely was clout chasing, because in 38 years of life and all these decades of boxing, I don't recall someone ever showing up to someone else's fight
Thank you.
with their belt. I've never seen that before.
Thank you.
Until recently. Never seen
Six of them to a ring, not one,
That's
but 6.
6 suitcases, Joe.
Duffel bag. Put a duffel bag of belts brought it to the fight.
That's 2 cabs. That's 2 cabs.
Come on now. Come on now. D-Style Boxing, El Capitan. Okay, the quarterback, there can only be one of HCP. It's Mr. D-Style Boxing, the dragon himself. Final thoughts, my brother. Go for it.
First of all, look at this bottle opener, the Thanos freaking. Look at this. Okay, that's number 1.
Maestro. You mean Maestro, not Thanos.
Is that what I'm getting for Christmas?
Okay, no, it's fine. But I will say this though. First of all, who's down with HCP? Not quite, but everybody, right? So first of all, give us that boxing glove emoji in the chat right now. If you're down with HCP, go ahead and put that right now. Make sure you throw a jab at the like button. Make sure you hit the straight to the cross, that cross to the subscribe, and that bell button so you're notified every time Maestro comes on live. If you like my channel, you can just search it. If you like my content anyway, just go to D-Style Boxing and all that good stuff. Shout out HCP, everybody. Hashtag that whole good stuff. Maestro Suleiman, please stop parading the poor child around, okay? Like, I'm just telling you right now, you're still going to get criticized for the division. It's a bullshit division. You made it up in thin air, okay? But unfortunately, I give it 2 years max in for every sanctioning body. They might not call it bridgerweight, but will have a similar weight class. Why? Because there's money in it, there's sanctioning fees, and that's what they're going to do, okay? Yeah. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and supports the Roundtable. Don't forget, next Wednesday, T-Funky's channel. After that, it'll be on my channel, all that good stuff. So keep up with that rotation. Shout out to Coach Malachi Williams for coming on, giving us his time. And also shout out to Ring IQ. It's always great having him on as well. Shout out to you, brother. All right, that's all I got.
Excellent, D-Style. Thank you so much. My final
We
thoughts.
did it first, and we motivate even the greats.
You heard it yourself. They did it first. My final thoughts.
He beat a better fight. Lomachenko's a better win than planned. I'll leave it at that.
You know what? Maybe that's not going to be my final thought. Maybe this will be.
I think the only person that can beat Canelo right now is like maybe 4 years.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh shit! I can't believe
Size don't matter.
Makabu gonna bring all them belts. Makabu gonna bring all them belts to fight Canelo. He's gonna be like this.
Maybe my. Huh?
Yo, this dude really came to his fight with his belts, bro.
Oh, you know what? Maybe Ring IQ. My final thoughts will be this.
Like Triple G and Canelo and all these guys, they're bums, bro. They're bums.
Jesus
well,
what the fuck?
That was 2016. This is bringing up receipts from like 4 or 5 years ago and shit. Okay,
internet's forever, brother.
Okay. Well, on that note, we finally end Cloutgate. It's the final, contribution of Maestro Boxing the fight.
Don't let it go. Don't let it go. It's too funny.
All right,
he
but
really
look,
went through his fight with somebody. Yo, that's wow.
Yes, belts, dog. So look, great show, great episode as always. D-Style Boxing put together the Roundtable. This was his brainchild. It was his idea to rotate it, channel to channel, week to week. Best convo in boxing. I want to thank D-Style Boxing. I want to thank G-Funky Boxing, G-Funk Dr. Spot, G-Funk Stradamus. I want to thank Ring IQ, top level knowledge, super intelligent Ring IQ, obviously. All right, and I want to thank Mr. Joe Habib himself, one of the best doing.
He's serenading us on the way out.
Period.
Yeah, give a shout out to the fight doctor too. Fight doctors out there in the chat. All right.
Doctor, he was saying that Canelo's the most protected fighter in the game. He's saying that it was conspiracy. People should go to jail because Canelo wants to fight at 200.
Committed felonies. It was a felony.
I tell you this, Maestro.
It was a fucking felony, man. There's already a warrant out for Canelo's arrest right now as we speak.
Hey, if the fight doctor's on Rick James status, I was on Ric Flair status tonight. A Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing.
You gotta do a little
Springfield status, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Great episode, everybody. Thank you so much. That is it. We're gonna go to my outro music. All right, and that's gonna be it for now. Thank you so much, everybody. It is a wrap. Take care. Goodbye.